Well, I'm back to saying good afternoon, New York. Good morning, Columbia. I'm a little later this morning. That's just I overslept. So, first up on the list is one of the things that America isn't understanding, and that Trump doesn't want a peaceful transition. That's why he's bagging these dates that are set up by federal law, apparently, that he has to do some transition work. He doesn't want to do it. He has no intention of doing it peacefully. His plan is basically to walk in and have Biden arrested, and that's just the beginning. And that's the problem that people, they don't understand the truth. They don't want to. They feel they're persecuted and that he's their hero. Well, so did most of Hitler's people, and they ended up losing everything. And the same thing will happen here if they're allowed, some of the DJs now are coming right out and calling him Little Hitler. That's what he's wanting to do. He's a fascist. Some of the things he wants to do are pure fascist. They're not. Nothing that he's saying or doing is going to make these people that support him their lives any better, unless they're rich. Then they'll get their lives. Well, if you're rich, how much better can your life get? But this is what is going on, and it's a sad state of affairs. I don't know how that's going to work out for everybody. I'm not immune to what's going on up there, because a lot of things he does is going to affect me. And this country is sort of shaky, waiting to see what happens to decide which direction it's going in, because right now they have a communist for a president who's putting ex-military rebels into the regular military. So we don't know what's going to happen there. Now you got Elon Musk as another nut job. Elon Musk understands something about AI, and I don't understand why you don't understand it. Okay? Artificial intelligence is designed it's designed to replace humans on space travel. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that something similar to what's going on in the Terminator movie happens, and they become sentient, and then that's the end of civilization. But let's just say that doesn't happen, and that we just keep using artificial intelligence for a lot of things. In New York City, when Uber came in, taxi drivers went nuts because they pay a lot of money for these taxi medallions. Okay, they're in debt up to their ass until they pay for these medallions, and then they start to make some serious money. But Uber started to make inroads into the, I guess, taxi business, if you want to call it that, and that's just starting to destroy the value of the medallion. Now you have Elon Musk wants to bring in these robo-taxis, I think by the year 2026 or something like that. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow morning, but he wants to bring them in, and again, that's not just going to hurt New York City too. Well, taxi drivers there, but I'm familiar mostly with New York City, so I'm going to say it's not just going to hurt New York City taxi drivers. It's going to hurt the Uber drivers. It's going to hurt everybody. So what does that do? That creates unemployment. Unemployment puts a terrible stress on the government, because the government has to start paying for stuff. Now, with Trump, I'm sure he'll figure out a way not to. So what do you have? You have people that were making a living that now have to work essentially for Donald Trump if they want to make any money, and they'll have to work for basically nothing. And Elon Musk is the same way. Elon Musk is a terrible, terrible person. I mean, he's got 15 kids by 5 different wives, or 5 different women, or something like that. I think that's right. And one of them just found out she signed away all her financial rights. That's wonderful. You get the richest man in the world is a cheap son of a bitch. Really, he's a despot. That's, that's been the story for a while. Now, going along with Elon, I found out why the Truth Social stock went up all of a sudden. It started this recovery is when Elon Musk made an appearance on stage with Donald Trump. So my feeling is that there's people out there that believe he's going to invest in Truth Social. Well, that's fine if he does it, if Trump wins the election and then he can control social media and he can do that, yeah, but if Trump doesn't win the election, Musk has already said this, he's in a world of shit. He's for some strange reason he's tying himself to Trump's coattails, and that's surprising for a man that doesn't need Trump. As rich as he is, but he wants to. There's something. I've always said this. Musk is worse than Trump because Musk wants to control the world. He's got himself into space. He wants to control the world. He wants to control space. He wants to control every little aspect of of everything that's going on. So we'll see. What goes on there, or how that works out in the long run. As I said at the beginning of this, I didn't know this. There's certain deadlines in transition that take place before an election. Transition of government, and I didn't know this till I read the article. I didn't know. Still don't know what these certain things are, but there are federal laws saying that this has to be done, and Trump doesn't pay any attention to them, which doesn't surprise me in the slight at all, because that's just the way he is. He doesn't care about law. No laws are for him. He's special. He's above everybody and everything else. Now, Nixon had this to a certain degree when he was president. He believed that that anything that the president did was legal. It could never be illegal, But that proved to be wrong, and now it's true though, because now Trump has a certain amount of immunity as president, not as a candidate. Okay, and that's something somebody's got to stress, because he's breaking laws, thinking that he's going to get reelected, and he's doing everything in his power to fix that. What was the story about Roger Stone suggesting that they put armed guards at the election facilities to discourage people from voting for anybody but Trump, and making sure that Trump wins? And that's a fascist tactic, well, that's not just a fascist tactic. That's a communist. That's a Putin tactic. You have people watching every move when you vote, and you better vote the right way, or you can lose your job, you can lose your life. Putin has his political opponents disappear, or he used to. I think he just beats them into the ground now. So he's got. What do they call obligats? I forget how you pronounce that, but he has these money people behind him, and they're the ones that are really in control of the government. Them and the Russian mafia. Putin's just playing. He's left alone to play his little games. Lucy, what's the matter? Lucy just stopped by for a minute with her tail wagging. I don't know what she wanted, but she's gone now. But I read another article that says the stock market predicts the election, and that right now the stock market is predicting that Kamala will win the election, but if the stock market decides to go down, then it could turn around and be good for Trump, which makes sense. They're basically saying as long as the economy is good and everything's going great, people are going to, stick with what's happening. And as soon as it goes bad, they want to find somebody to blame other than the real culprits in this, which is corporations, And Trump is a big corporate man, so that's something it's another thing people should take a look at. It's Donald Trump is a corporate man. He's not only a lacking empathy, he is a corporate man. He believes the corporations are, the answer to everything, and that they should be given, they shouldn't have to answer to the American public about their profits or anything else, you know. And yeah, you know, I understand the basic principles of economics, you know, and it's just, I don't know how you change that, you know. People are motivated by money. Corporations are motivated by profit. You have to understand, corporations don't understand that they can maintain the same. The only way you can convince a corporation is not to raise prices when there's a price increase on their materials that they're needed for manufacturing, even though that, you know, they're making a huge, over 60% profit or something like that on an item. In some cases 70% profit. The only way you can do that is by showing them that if they sell the same, they have to sell more. Okay? Now, their profits dip because their prices are too high and there's other places for them to buy, you know, maybe not the exact same quality or the exact same product, but you can get similar products cheaper someplace else. Another country, perhaps. That's where tariffs come in, you know. I mean, I remember metal toys after World War II. They were made in the Philippines and South Korea. Okay, now that's not going on. And then China became the big, I don't know how China got into that stuff, but they became the big gun in that stuff, you know, and America wasn't. America didn't make them. America couldn't make enough money because the labor costs were so high, labor and product costs are so high in America that it's very difficult to take a low priced item and make money on it, even with volume sales. You know, that's what hurts people like Marvel. That's what hurt the comic book industry, you know. The fact that the costs got so high that the kids that were the prime customers of these people, the prime promoters of comic book characters and whatnot, couldn't afford to buy the books anymore. You know, when a comic book that was 10 cents now costs $1.25. All right, that's a huge increase. You know, sure, well, production costs went up, of course, but you didn't think of a cheaper way of doing it. You know, till it was too late. And now they don't even have it. Most of the comic books are digital, so they don't have them anymore. So anyhow, I want to do a story next week on a continuing story of that this people that are pushing for artificial intelligence and the effect that it's going to have on the human race and on people, you know. I mean, like I said, look at the taxi industry. When the taxi industry came in, the loss of revenue to the drivers of the yellow cabs in New York City when Uber came in. Okay? And now if Musk is allowed to bring in the robo-taxis, you'll see less employment. They don't employ anybody. There's nobody driving those taxis. It's not some other human being taking over. It's one company that's taking over or attempting to take over. And somebody has to explain that to me next week or something like that about how that makes sense, that you develop products that put people out of work. Who's going to buy the product? If you develop manufacturing techniques that are going to put people out of work, where are they going to get the money to buy the product? Only rich people are going to be able to buy the product? You're going to have to start selling, you know, toy cars for $1 million in order for the companies to make profit. Because how many people can afford to spend that kind of money on unnecessary products? All right, listen, it's a little early. It's before, just coming up to the 15-minute mark, but I'm going to bail because I have some things to do. It's Friday. I got some things to take care of. And I'll see you set tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens. All right, take care.